In a world full of bright lights and glamour, there's a dark side to the city that never sleeps. This is the story of Kelsey Turner, a young woman whose life of fame and beauty would come to a tragic end in a tale that shocked the world. A case that leaves us questioning, how did a bright future end in waste? Let's find out. Kelsey Turner was a model and aspiring social media influencer. She appeared to have it all: beauty, charm, and a growing online presence. Born and raised in California, Kelsey moved to Las Vegas to chase her dreams, working as a model while also building an online following. But behind the filtered pictures and the sparkling smile, something darker was unfolding. She was always super positive, always pushing for more. She really wanted to make it big. However, things took a sudden turn when Kelsey met a man who would change everything: Thomas Stephen, a wealthy doctor with a passion for art. He seemed to offer Kelsey the kind of life she had always dreamed of. He showered her with gifts, money, and a future filled with promise. But behind the facade of wealth, Thomas had secrets, dark secrets. At first, Thomas seemed like a good guy, generous, kind. But there were rumors. It wasn't until March 2019 that everything would unravel. In a secluded part of the Nevada desert, a body was discovered. The victim? A man named Thomas Stephen. But this wasn't just any man. Thomas, it turned out, had been living a double life. Kelsey's involvement would soon come to light, and the story would take an unexpected twist. When we found Thomas, it didn't make sense at first. How could a wealthy, respected man end up dead in the middle of nowhere? That's when we started digging into his connections, into Kelsey's life. As investigators uncovered more, they learned that Kelsey wasn't the only one with a motive. Thomas had become obsessed with her, controlling her every move, pushing her into a corner. But Kelsey had another side to her, one she had kept hidden for too long. Kelsey had a troubled history. The people around her said she was trying to escape Thomas's control, but she was stuck. Thomas was the kind of person who would never let go. It wasn't long before Kelsey's boyfriend, a man named James, was brought in for questioning. Police soon learned that Kelsey and James had been planning to leave Thomas. But as the investigation went on, Kelsey's involvement in Thomas's passing away became clearer. She was no longer just a victim in this tragic tale. She was now a suspect. Kelsey's story is complex. It's hard to say whether she was manipulated by Thomas or whether she played a part in his demise. What we know is that she was caught in a very dangerous game between power, control, and money. The trial that followed was a media spectacle. Everyone wanted to know, was Kelsey a cold-blooded killer or a woman pushed to the edge? Kelsey never intended for Thomas to die. She was in an abusive relationship, struggling to break free. This was a tragic accident, something that went too far. After days of deliberation, the jury rendered their verdict. Kelsey Turner was found guilty of second-degree manslaughter. The case sent shockwaves through the community. Kelsey's life, once filled with promise, was now over. She would spend years in prison for the crime. The chilling case of Kelsey Turner reminds us that behind the glittering facade of fame and fortune, darkness often lurks. How far will someone go to escape a toxic relationship? And how far will they go to survive? Thanks for watching. If you want to know more about this case, don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the bell icon for more true crime documentaries.